Cloud Chamber Studios has been working on BioShock 4 for a while now, but we've actually heard very little about it. We actually got confirmation that it was in development back in 2019, as studio head Kelly Gilmore told Games Radar in an exclusive interview back then. The team was kicking around a myriad of ideas for the new BioShock game. Since confirmation that the game is officially in the works, we've yet to have much in the way of a substantial update on BioShock 4 from the studio. In fact, the biggest news we've seen recently on the BioShock front is that a BioShock Netflix movie adaptation is in the works, with director Francis Lawrence offering assurances that it will stay really true to the games. It's certainly quickly becoming one of the most anticipated upcoming video game movies. BioShock 4 has officially been announced, though that may not be the title of the game when it finally launches. For now, that's what we're calling the next mainline BioShock game, which is in the works over at Cloud Chamber, a studio created by 2K back in 2019. There's still a lot we don't know about the next BioShock title, from a possible release window to a setting for the game. As you likely know, setting is an important part of any BioShock title, with the first two games taking place in the underwater city of Rapture, and BioShock Infinite taking to the skies with Columbia. Whatever follows has a lot to live up to, that's for sure. Hopefully we will hear more soon, as the game has reportedly been in development for a while. It's too early to even spitball a potential release window, unfortunately. While we can hope it's entered full production already, we don't actually know what stage the game is in without any concrete information. No official release date has been announced just yet for BioShock 4. Since we've yet to see any trace of the game since 2K's announcement over 2 years ago, it may still be quite some time before we do. Interestingly, though, a datamine surfaced last year in 2021 that supposedly pointed towards a launch date sometime in 2022. However, as we approach the end of the year, a 2023 release date is the earliest that we'll see a new BioShock surface. While we're certainly excited for the next BioShock game, we don't actually know when we'll get our hands on it. In a tweet officially announcing a new BioShock game back in 2019, publisher 2K Games stated that work had begun on the next iteration of the BioShock franchise. It confirmed that the game would be in development for the next several years. That may not have been the most welcome news, but it did give us an idea about what platforms BioShock 4 would eventually release on. With the PS5 and Xbox Series X now available, we'll almost certainly be seeing a new BioShock releasing on these platforms and probably on PC too. Whether the title arrives on last-generation consoles like Xbox One and PS4 is less certain. It depends on when the sequel releases. NVIDIA GeForce Now leak from September 2021 suggested that we could see the game launch in 2022. While we've seen many games on this particular leaked list get confirmed, we're now well into 2022. Since an official announcement has yet to come, it could have potentially been delayed internally, but that's entirely speculative. Back in February 2022, a report from the Twitter account Oops Leaks suggested that the game could be experiencing some problems in its development. Reportedly, the game has seen development issues, and the company lost about 40 employees, including leads. Oops Leaks then states that 2K is not satisfied with the project's results and pace. However, judging by T2's recent financial report, the game is still planned to be released by the end of 2024. 2K and Cloud Chamber Games didn't comment on this, so it should be taken with a large pinch of salt. A fourth BioShock game is currently in the works, and one leaker is sharing details on the return of the thought-provoking sci-fi shooter franchise. New information about a fourth BioShock game has leaked, suggesting the game will follow a group of Rapture refugees to Antarctica and the anticipated follow-up called BioShock Isolation. The franchise recently celebrated its 15th anniversary, which prompted many fans of the series for an update on where the series could be going next. This is understandable since the last game to come out, BioShock Infinite, was released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 almost 10 years ago. And as any player who reached the third game's ending knows, there is plenty more BioShock story to tell. While sci-fi shooters were quite common in the early 2000s, BioShock set itself apart with thought-provoking storytelling, immersive world-building, and intense gameplay. The second game and its DLC revisited the same underwater city of Rapture, long after its politics and mutated citizens ate the underwater metropolis from the inside out. Creative director Ken Levine then took fans into the sky with BioShock Infinite's flying city of Columbia. While Columbia was not nearly as dilapidated as the city of Rapture, the game still provided frightful enemies and unique powers, allowing players to dispatch their foes in a variety of entertaining ways. Although Levine has moved on from the BioShock franchise, a fourth game has been in development for years. Thanks to one leaker, fans may finally have some details on the long-awaited game. Leaks have provided new information for the fourth BioShock game, supposedly titled BioShock Isolation, giving fans some early details into the setting and story for the Arctic adventure the game will deliver when it releases sometime around 2024. As reported, the information was shared by Twitter user OopsLeaks, and as they state in their tweets, the information should be taken with a grain of salt. According to the leaked information, BioShock Isolation and its official reveal have seen delays because of staffing issues with developer Cloud Chamber Studios. As things stand, a release date for BioShock 4 may not happen until 2024 or later. Things may change during development, but it's believed players will take control of a female protagonist who belongs to an exploited labor class, being used to build upon a thriving futuristic city in Antarctica. Laborers are forced to live in a deteriorating undercity as tensions rise, and the player must find a way to unite the two warring factions. The leaker decided to share all the information they had gathered, since the franchise's 15th anniversary provided no details or announcements related to BioShock 4. Rumors have been sparse, but info gathered through the developer's job listings hints that the upcoming game will be made on Unreal Engine 5 and be more open world than the earlier games. OopsLeaks also suggests that aggregate states of water plays a huge role in the plot and lore, and that BioShock 4 will contain multiple endings. Fans have waited a long time for a new BioShock game. However, many game developers inspired by the series have since gone on to make some great alternatives for fans to play. For instance, the developer behind the Dishonored series and last year's Deathloop, Arcane Studios, has delivered exciting FPS experiences with fun powers and abilities similar to BioShock's gameplay. Still, if the leaks are correct, fans will be waiting a few more years for BioShock 4. Wait that its publishers and developers feel is necessary to ensure the new game is done right. The official 2K press release didn't shed too much light on the direction BioShock 4 would be going in. 2K president David Ismailer did however touch on some of the core pillars the series is known for when talking about the Cloud Chamber team. We can't wait to see where its powerful narrative and iconic first-person shooter gameplay head in the future, with our new studio team at Cloud Chamber leading the charge. As such, it sounds as though BioShock will still be staying true to its roots as a first-person shooter. At this point in time, we don't yet know much about BioShock 4's story or its place in the timeline of the series. What we do know, thanks to a statement from Gilmore in the press release, is that the Cloud Chamber team is looking to create yet-to-be-discovered worlds and their stories within that push the boundaries of what is possible in the video game medium. This suggests we're set to see the story and setting of BioShock 4 go in a new direction. BioShock defined what a compelling narrative and immersive world can bring to a video game. Players interact with it in their own unique ways and have unforgettable experiences, Gilmore told Games Radar. That will remain at the core of our design vision for the next BioShock, and we have a myriad of ideas on how best to achieve it. More speculative rumors also came to light last year from Colin Moriarty, claiming that BioShock 4 may take place in a fictional 1960s Antarctic city, supposedly called Borealis. So far, though, nothing official has been confirmed. In an interview, Gilmore touched on how environments have played a critical role throughout BioShock history and are incredibly important to the gameplay experience. While not much more was said on the topic, Gilmore did add that there are many creative directions to explore. With so many possibilities, we really can't wait to find out more. There were also uncorroborated rumors in 2021 that BioShock 4 would be called BioShock Isolation, with one Twitter user claiming that the game would be set in an isolated dystopian city. The prospect of seeing a new-gen BioShock game is exciting, to say the least. With its distinctive visual style and atmospheric feel, we can hardly wait to get our first glimpse of BioShock 4. Thanks to a job listing posted back in May 2021, our sense of anticipation has only intensified. In the Cloud Chamber listing for a senior gameplay programmer, there is the mention of being able to work within Unreal Engine 5, which may suggest BioShock 4 is using the latest generation game engine from developer Epic Games. If what we've seen of upcoming Unreal Engine 5 games are anything to go by so far, it could be a real feast for the eyes. While no platforms have been confirmed for the new BioShock, we're certainly eager to see how Cloud Chamber brings the next installment to life using the latest hardware. As Gilmore said in an interview back in 2019 during the early stages of development, one of the great things about our industry is how much it evolves on a regular basis. We constantly have new technology and innovations to explore, as well as expanding ways to reach and interact with our fans. We can't discuss any specifics yet, but we're excited about the possibilities. Twitter user OopsLeaks has suggested that BioShock 4 could actually be named BioShock Isolation. Reporting the news back in November 2021, the known leaker suggests this'll be set in an isolated dystopian city using Unreal Engine 5. Reportedly, an announcement was planned for Q1 2022, but for whatever reason, that's since been delayed. A leak might have just revealed the planned setting for BioShock 4, courtesy of Colin Moriarty in a Sacred Symbols video. According to this, BioShock 4 takes players to a fictional city in the Antarctic in the 1960s. This is a setting that both VGC and Eurogamer have corroborated, citing anonymous sources. Setting the game in the 1960s would bring it in line with the timeline of BioShock 1 and 2, which take place in the underwater city of Rapture. Moriarty went on to say that the new city setting could be called Borealis, and that the game will narratively connect to previous entries in the series. It takes place in a 1960s Antarctic city called Borealis, Moriarty said. The game is codenamed Parkside. I've been told that the development team has incredible latitude to get it right. That seems and sounds right to me. Moriarty went on to say, internally, the game is very secret and apparently totally locked up. Apparently the inclination there is that they understand full well that this game will be compared to what original BioShock creator Ken Levine does. And by the way, Take-Two is also publishing Levine's next game. Moriarty said that the game is apparently targeting a 2022 release, but, of course, this report remains a rumor until anything is confirmed by the game's publisher or developer. If the game really is targeting a 2022 release, however, there isn't really much time left for an announcement and release cycle. There was a major leak from the NVIDIA GeForce Now game streaming service database in September 2021, and it included a listing for BioShock 2022, which could be related to the BioShock game announced in 2019. Known for now as BioShock 4. Since the leak took place, 343 Industries has stepped forward to say that a listing for Halo 5 on PC was incorrect, and that the game will not come to the platform, which is as good a sign as any that many of the games that appeared on the list, or any release dates tied to them, aren't actually correct. A job listing at Cloud Chamber Games, developers of BioShock 4, suggests the team could be developing the game using Epic's Unreal Engine 5. In the ad for a senior gameplay programmer, it states that the candidate will work within Unreal Engine 5, adapting existing systems and building new technology in order to fulfill the project's technical needs and creative goals.